Junior Dos Santos believes that Sergei Pavlovich will dominate the division. He will dominate the heavyweight division. In fact, he'll be the most dominant person in the heavyweight division if Jon Jones, in fact, does retire after his fight with Stipe. And the heavyweight division is a very interesting one right now. I mean, there's a massive pride and a massive honor. I certainly don't want to take that away. I've just never seen this division in this kind of shape. There is not, just for understanding, there is not a Division I All-American on the roster in the heavyweight division. That's never happened before. And I'm putting that Division I All-American, I'm putting that accomplishment out there, but I'd be welcome to anything equal. You got a national team member from a different country. You got a world team representative. You got a former Olympian, and I'll listen to anything. I just haven't seen it. I don't just say this as a wrestling mark. I say this historically as a fan of the division. We've never been in a situation where we are so underrepresented in the sport of wrestling. All right, great. So, Sergei Pavlovich will be the most dominant fighter in the heavyweight division if Jon Jones retires. Well, Jon Jones not retired today, and Sergei's the most dominant. He's much more dominant. Sergei has finished 6 of his last 6 opponents in the first round. I'm not sure Jon Jones has punched a heavyweight. And I don't mean that to be funny at all. I know Surreal did not punch Jon, but I don't remember Jon punching Surreal. Perhaps I'd have to go back and watch that. Perhaps he did actually touch that. I don't think so. I think it's accurate to say Jon's never punched a heavyweight. Sergei's finished 6 of them inside of 5 minutes in a row. So it's a real interesting. Why does Jon have to retire for Sergei to be the most dominant, right? And then moreover, I don't know how much I want to push Sergei. I've certainly done my job to make sure his name stays out there. I've certainly done my part to contribute, but I'm getting a little exhausted of it if he doesn't. I'm not going to do this without him. Sergei's either going to get off his fat ass and he's going to kick in here, or we're going to move on. There was only one person to come to you guys when Tom Aspinall, who had a great call out and laid the round robin together. Aspinall's in the ring after a victory in his return fight in his home country, and he puts the round robin together of specifically what's going to happen to then get to a title fight. It didn't involve Pavlovich. I like Tom, and I know Tom. I like Tom's math. But the right thing to do was still to remind people that round robin doesn't work because it doesn't include Pavlovich, and he's the right guy. But I haven't heard anything from Pavlovich. And I do mean nothing. 0. So I bring you this because to Junior's point, if you're talking about who you believe is going to win the heavyweight title, particularly when you start removing play like Jon Jones, like fair enough. There's no part of me that thinks that Sergei can go out there and beat Jon to start with, that's a foregone conclusion. And there's even a bigger non-part of me that's going to let you know you're wrong when you think that Jon isn't willing to fight this guy. Yes, he will. He might be fighting him in November, just so you understand. He's already agreed to fight him. I continue to hear people say Jon's not willing to fight Sergei. Sergei's the backup fighter, which means Jon and Stipe are already aware and in agreement that they might fight. Like, you have to stop with that, because it shows that you don't understand what's going on. Okay, great. But let's take a good look at that. Is that what you want? It's a really interesting question. Jon Jones is not afraid to hold up a division. Like, that's not even a question. And I'm not positive that Jon has ever punched a heavyweight. But people are more than happy to say that Sergei's time to shine can't shine when Jon's still there. Like, what difference does it make? What difference does it make if he's done less than 1 round in a division ever, or if we just start doing that to the 205-pounders? Because you're doing hypotheticals anyway. You're saying, well, hypothetically, Jon, if he was active and was busy and did get in there and did actually like doing this, would run through all of them. Well, but that would be true at 205 as well, except you've actually seen it at 205. Not to mention they don't have a champion. So what difference does it make? Well, he's not a 205-pounder anymore. Well, do you think he can make 205? I mean, he's not really a heavyweight either. It's a very interesting question. And this is a guy, because it also gets you philosophical. Well, what does retirement mean? Like, they're saying that he's going to retire after the fight. Well, what does retirement mean? Retirement comes with a couple of activations in Jon's spot that wouldn't be in other places because he is the champion. If he retires as champion, for example, it'll come with that. It'll become with relinquishing the belt. It could come with the removal of the USADA pool. And it means that you won't fight again until you agree to fight again. Well, that's the same spot you're in anyway. Like, it's just a word. I mean, when the commission suspends him, what is the difference there with being retired? What difference does it make? You're not going to do the sport, but it's not your choice? Okay, great. This commission didn't suspend him. It's now his choice. He didn't fight for 3 years. Like, what difference does it make? And I'm sharing that from a perspective, and that's not to give Jon a hard time. Like, this is just a reality. Jon hasn't done anything new to the heavyweights that he did to the 205 pounders. Jon hasn't done anything new to anybody. It's just a reality. He's not afraid to hold up a division. So now you have Sergei Pavlovich, who has clearly demonstrated he doesn't have any interest in moving a division along. I don't suggest for you that Sergei's going to get suspended or that he's going to refuse to do fights, but he's sitting there passively waiting for somebody to call him and offer him to go and do a fight. Like, I mean, it's a very bizarre thing. Is that what you want? It's what you got now. Are you happy with it? Like, are you a heavyweight fan? I just can't wait for heavyweights. Because if so, you've been left out in the cold for a really long time. Your last champion sat out on a contract dispute for over a year before they got on with it. Your current champion is going to be pressing that same time frame, right? Like, it's a tough spot. Is that what you want at heavyweight? Is that what you want? I don't know. I'm not telling you that you're wrong for it. But if you're talking about that Sergei's going to be the most dominant guy once Jon goes, I'm not sure Jon's ever punched a heavyweight. Sergei's gotten rid of the last 6 inside of 5 minutes. How about this? Instead of finding out who the best heavyweight is, can we find out who the most willing heavyweight is? Who wants this the most? I mean, that would be a very interesting point as well. And that's where I would have to shine a spotlight right back on Tom Aspinall, who flew to a different country after laying out a plan, trying to pick a fight that he thought would get him close. It's one of these interesting things. Where are the other heavyweights? And the very heavyweight that Tom did that to says, I'm not interested. I mean, I don't know if any of them are interested in doing anything. I trust that they want to fight. I trust they want to be champions. I don't trust like there's this big conspiracy here. I'm just sharing with you. Wouldn't it be refreshing if? Wouldn't it be refreshing if we had a heavyweight who wanted to compete? Who wanted to compete with the top guys? Who wanted to compete with the top guys on a reasonably normal schedule, which is a lazy man schedule, where you're asked to go to work 3 times a year. Wouldn't that be nice? It used to be expected and it used to be the norm, and now it's something that isn't even discussed. So I'm here to bring it to you. What would you like the most at heavyweight out of, attitude-wise, your champion?